I caught my MIL whispering to my daughter, "Your mommy doesn't really love you." When I confronted her, she said, "I'm just undoing the damage you cause." My husband told me to apologize. I quietly packed a bag and sent them a message that made their faces drain when they read. I'm a 34-year-old mom living outside Omaha, Nebraska. My daughter Ellie is 6. She's my world. I've raised her with as much love and patience as I have in me. I work full-time as a nurse, which means long hours sometimes, but I've never once made Ellie feel like she came second. At least I thought I hadn't, until my mother-in-law moved in. Her name is Teresa. She's one of those church every Sunday, my son can do no wrong types. When Mark and I got married 8 years ago, she was polite, but always distant. She said things like, "You sure you want to marry a nurse? Or hope you don't plan on daycare, babies need their moms." Always with that fake sweet tone. I learned early on to keep the peace and smile through it. Mark, my husband, has always defended her. Said I take things too personally. That she means well. But I've always known Teresa didn't like me. I wasn't the kind of woman she pictured for her son. I had a career. I wasn't quiet or passive. I didn't let her steamroll me. That didn't sit well with her. A few months ago, Teresa slipped on some ice and fractured her ankle. She made a big show of being helpless. Claimed she couldn't cook, drive, or manage on her own. Mark offered for her to move in while she recovered. I didn't love the idea, but what could I say? I didn't want to be the daughter-in-law who refused help to an injured woman. I agreed. Biggest mistake of my life. At first, she acted like a sweet grandma. Brought Ellie little treats, sat with her during cartoons, helped her with crafts. But within 2 weeks, I noticed Ellie getting quiet. I'd come home from work and she'd be withdrawn. Moody. She started asking weird questions. "Mommy, why do you leave so much? Do you love me when you're at work?" Grandma said some mommies pretend they love their kids, but really they don't. I tried not to panic. I told myself maybe she was just confused. Maybe she heard something at school. I even asked Teresa about it casually. "Oh, she's just being sensitive. Kids make stuff up all the time." But then I caught it myself. One morning, I was about to head to work. I'd forgotten my badge, so I came back inside. That's when I heard Teresa in the living room, whispering to Ellie. "You know your mommy doesn't really love you, right? She always leaves you. She only cares about work. That's not love, sweetie." Ellie didn't even respond. She just sat there, like she'd heard it before. I stepped in fast. "Excuse me? What did you just say to her?" Teresa turned around, calm as ever. "I'm undoing the damage you cause." I couldn't speak for a second. My whole body went cold. "You don't get to say that to my daughter. Ever." She didn't flinch. "She's confused. You're never here. Someone has to help her understand why she always feels abandoned." "You think she doesn't notice?" I told her to pack her stuff. She smirked and said, "I'm not going anywhere. This is my son's house too." When Mark got home, I told him everything. He didn't believe me. "She'd never say that to Ellie. You must have misunderstood." I snapped. I heard her with my own ears. She said I don't love Ellie. She told her I pretend. He rubbed his temples. "Just apologize. She's old school. She didn't mean it." That was it for me. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stopped talking. I packed a bag for Ellie and me while they slept. I called my sister in Kansas City and told her everything. She said, "Come now. Stay as long as you need." Before I left, I printed out a message and taped it to the fridge. "Since you believe your mother's lies and expect me to apologize for protecting my child, I'll make it easy. You two can live in your peace. Ellie and I are gone. Don't call. Don't text. From now on, speak to me through my attorney." The next morning, I was already halfway to Kansas City when Mark called. He blew up my phone. Text after text. "Where are you? This is insane, Alicia. Come back. You're ruining our family. I didn't answer. Then Teresa messaged me. You've proven my point. You're unstable. Poor Ellie. That same week, I found a lawyer. I filed for emergency custody. My lawyer was a beast. We showed the judge texts, explained what Ellie had been saying. My sister even testified to the change in Ellie's behavior since Teresa moved in. I got temporary full custody. Supervised visits only. Teresa wasn't allowed near Ellie at all. Mark was stunned. Still tried to play it like I overreacted. But I wasn't done. A few weeks later, I found out Teresa had secretly called CPS on me a month earlier. Claimed I was never home and that Ellie was emotionally neglected. Of course, CPS found nothing. But it showed how far she was willing to go. She was planning this. So I hit back. I sued her for defamation. She had no idea I even knew about the call. When she got the notice, she panicked. She begged Mark to help her. He refused. Said she crossed a line. He finally started to realize she'd been manipulating him too. But that didn't matter anymore. I didn't care if he woke up or not. Teresa settled out of court. She had to write a full apology and pay damages. I donated the money to a local women's shelter and shared her apology letter with the pastor at her church. Her reputation crumbled. Mark tried to talk to me again. Tried to say he was sorry. That he didn't see it until it was too late. I told him sorry doesn't raise a daughter who's been emotionally gaslit by her own grandmother. I filed for divorce. After I filed for divorce, things got ugly fast. Mark didn't take it well. At first, he kept trying to win me back, sending long emotional texts, promising he'd cut off his mom for good, saying things like, "We can go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes." But I didn't trust a word of it. He only started defending me when his own life began falling apart. When I didn't respond, he got mean. Started pushing for joint custody, claiming I was alienating him from Ellie. I knew that was Teresa talking through him. She couldn't be around Ellie anymore, so she was using Mark as her mouthpiece. I told my lawyer everything. The texts. The sudden shift in tone. The past gaslighting. We built our case stronger. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. One afternoon, I got a call from Ellie's school. Her teacher, Ms. Delgado, said a man tried to pick Ellie up claiming to be an uncle. I nearly dropped the phone. I don't have any brothers. Mark doesn't either. Ms. Delgado said she got a bad feeling and refused to release Ellie. When the man realized she wasn't falling for it, he took off. I filed a police report immediately. The school handed over security footage. The man was tall, gray hoodie, sunglasses. No license plate on his car. Cops said it looked like he knew how to avoid cameras. I was terrified. I asked Ellie if anyone had mentioned an uncle recently. She said Grandma Teresa told her, "A nice man might come to pick you up soon. If it's not Mommy or Daddy, that's okay. He's family too." I felt sick. This wasn't just emotional abuse anymore. It was crossing into dangerous territory. I handed everything over to my lawyer and the police. They opened an investigation into Teresa. I didn't have proof she sent the guy, but with her past behavior, the school statements, and Ellie's account, it was enough to get a protective order, not just against Teresa, but against anyone she could send. That meant Mark too. At the next court hearing, my lawyer revealed all of it. The judge didn't hold back. Said Teresa was a threat to Ellie's safety and ordered that she have no contact with her, directly or through anyone else. Mark's visitation rights were paused pending evaluation. Mark looked like he'd been punched in the chest. And then, just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I found out why Teresa was really staying with us. She had nowhere else to go. Her condo had been foreclosed months before. She'd lied to Mark. Told him it was under renovation. But she'd blown through her savings, maxed out cards, and burned every bridge with her friends. That's why she clung so hard to our home. She wasn't just overbearing. She was desperate. manipulative, backed into a corner and willing to destroy anyone to stay in control. I told Mark, this is who you wanted me to apologize to. This is who you let whisper poison into our daughter's ear. He just sat there, hollow, silent. The police never found the man in the hoodie. But after that, I didn't take any chances. I installed cameras, got a security system, changed schools, made sure everyone in Ellie's life knew never to release her to anyone but me. My sister helped me every step of the way. And still, at night, I locked every door twice. Checked every window. Because now it wasn't just about Teresa. It was about how far people will go when their mask slips, and how much damage they'll do to hold on to power. 3 weeks after the court hearing, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just my name, written in shaky handwriting. Inside was a single page. Printed. No signature. No salutation. You think you won, but your daughter still has my blood. You can't erase that. She'll always feel what you don't give her. I stood there in my kitchen holding the letter, hands shaking. I wanted to scream. I wanted to call someone. But I didn't. I just stood there. Then I read it again. That last line, she'll always feel what you don't give her. It wasn't just a threat. It was a warning. Teresa wasn't done. Even with the court orders, even with no custody, no contact, she was still trying to poison things from the outside. I turned it over to the police, of course. They couldn't do much without proof she sent it. But they documented it. That night, I sat Ellie down and told her, as simply as I could, that some people, even people in our family, don't know how to love the right way. And when someone shows you they're like that, you believe them and stay away. Ellie asked, "Is Grandma sad?" I said, "Maybe. But sad doesn't give you permission to be cruel." And I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. One day, Ellie came home from school with a bracelet in her backpack. A small beaded one with her name on it. Pink and blue. I didn't recognize it. "Who gave you this?" I asked. She shrugged. "It was in my cubby. It didn't have a note." I checked with her teacher. No one had seen anyone drop it off. No one claimed to have given it to her. It just showed up. I looked at it closer. There was a small metal charm on the end, in the shape of a bird. The same exact charm Teresa used to wear on a necklace. I couldn't breathe. That meant someone had been to the school. Someone got access to her things. And this wasn't just a message to Ellie, it was one to me. I can still reach her. I went nuclear. I hired a private investigator. I stopped playing defense and started looking for cracks in Teresa's life. What I found changed everything. Turns out Teresa had been reaching out to other family members. People I barely knew, cousins on Mark's side, even old neighbors, telling them I was the one poisoning Ellie. That I was turning her against her father and trying to erase the family bloodline. She was building a little campaign behind the scenes. Playing the victim. Using Mark as the front. And worse? She was getting sympathy from people who didn't know the full story. Some of them believed her. One of them, a cousin named Jenna, messaged me on Facebook out of nowhere. Said she didn't appreciate the way I was keeping Ellie from her family. That Teresa was heartbroken. That children need both sides. I sent her one sentence: "If you ever try to contact my daughter again, you'll be talking to my lawyer, not me." I blocked her. But I knew the network was still there. Teresa was using the people around her like puppets. And Mark? He still hadn't cut her off. Not really. Then the PI called. He found Teresa's new address. Some extended stay motel 30 minutes outside Omaha. But more importantly, he found out she'd been talking to someone else. A man named Henry Sullivan. A retired private security guard. The same man who matched the description of the guy who tried to pick Ellie up from school. They'd met at a church support group 2 towns over. He had no record. Nothing the police could stick to him. But the PI saw them meet in person. Said she gave him a folder. Said they looked serious. That's when it hit me. Teresa wasn't just playing family drama anymore. She was trying to build a case again. Maybe not legal, but social. Psychological. To wear me down. To make me look paranoid. So I'd crack. So someone else would start believing her story. But I wasn't going to crack. I was going to break the whole game instead. I decided to finish this. Not just defend. Not just survive. End it. After the private investigator confirmed Teresa was trying to rebuild a smear campaign, I sat down and made a plan. I wasn't going to let this woman crawl back into our lives from the shadows. I was going to shine every bit of light I had on her, and make sure the whole world saw what kind of person she really was. First, I got copies of everything: court transcripts, CPS reports, school statements, text messages, the audio recording of her yelling at Ellie, even the anonymous letter she sent me. I organized them in a folder titled, Evidence of Emotional Abuse and Harassment, Teresa, last name. Then I called Mark. We hadn't talked in weeks. When he picked up, he sounded exhausted. Like life had finally hit him hard. I told him calmly, I know about Henry. I know about the new campaign. I know your mom is still trying to reach Ellie. He didn't deny it. He just sighed and said, I didn't know what to do anymore. She has no one. I thought maybe if I helped her, she'd calm down. That was the last thread holding back my rage. You let her get close to someone who tried to take our daughter. Again. You let her build lies while claiming you were done with her. I didn't think she'd go that far, no. You didn't care. That's the difference. Then I said something I never thought I'd say: if you don't sign away your custody, I will go public with everything. All of it. I'll post every piece of evidence online. I'll take it to your job. I'll show the court your silence, your complicity. This ends today. He was silent for a long time. Then he asked, is this revenge? No, I said. This is a consequence. He signed the papers the next day. My lawyer filed for full legal and physical custody with no visitation. Mark didn't contest it. It was granted. Official. Final. Done. I kept going. I took my evidence and sent it, carefully and legally, to Teresa's church leaders. A full package. Everything labeled, timestamped, verified. Within days, she was asked not to return. Quietly at first. Then formally. Her little support network of concerned women dropped her one by one. No one wants to be caught defending a woman who tried to poison a child's mind. The PI also gave me something I didn't expect: proof that Teresa had committed benefits fraud years ago. Claimed she was disabled and unable to work, while still receiving cash under the table doing consulting for a small business her friend ran. Not big money, but enough. I didn't press charges. I let the IRS handle that. By the time spring came, Teresa was evicted from her motel for not paying. Her church dropped her. Her social circle vanished. Mark moved in with a friend across town and was let go from his job not long after. I never asked why. He tried writing me a letter, a real one this time. Said he never realized how badly he'd failed until it was too late. Said he missed Ellie, missed me, hated himself. I read it once and filed it away. Not because I forgave him, but because I wanted to remember what weakness looks like when it hides behind silence. Ellie and I moved to a new home, not far, but quiet. A place with a yard, a sunroom, and enough space for her to grow into her own person. Her new school has counselors who actually care. Her smile came back. Her sleep got better. She started drawing again. And one night, about a month after we moved, she looked up at me while brushing her teeth and said, "Mommy, I'm glad we don't have any secrets in this house." I cried in the hallway after she went to bed. That was the moment I knew it was truly over. Teresa? Last I heard, she moved in with a cousin 2 towns over. No one visits. No one calls. She lost the one thing she valued most: control. Her own son cut her off. Her reputation turned to ash. The community she used to hide behind won't touch her now. I didn't scream. I didn't burn things down. I used facts. I used law. And I used her own words against her. That's the kind of revenge that sticks, the one where you don't have to lift a hand, because they do the destroying themselves. As for me? I'm healing. Not perfect. But real. Honest. Stronger than I ever thought I'd be. And my daughter? She knows her mother loves her. She knows the truth. That's all she'll ever need.